A very good morning and welcome back to another daily market outlook. Hope you had a fantastic night of sleep and a good trading day yesterday. We're going to be starting off with euro dollar here on the 4-hour. Currently inside the 75 to 100% area slash region of resistance. So as we can see, we're obviously still inside of this range from this high in towards this low. Inside the 75% mark. Obviously, we can expect some further downside, but it is looking better and better for euro dollar, with obviously the fractal structure being bullish from this low in towards this high, then respecting this area of demand and moving up higher. So at the moment, what we're starting to see is pretty much a fresh area of demand form over here and some form of, let's say, demand order flow in towards the highs being formed. So let's see if we can start breaking up in towards the highs and reaching this area of supply over here. Obviously, I just want to break out of this range. I don't really mind if we break up in towards the highs or break up in towards the lows. There's going to be trading opportunities regardless on both ends of the markets. So that's what I'm currently looking at. But for any trade opportunities, we do need to go in towards the lower time frame, being the 15-minute. So the 15-minute overall is still swing bullish from this low in towards this high. Now, when you have an area of consolidation and you have such a big swing range, what you then want to do is focus on the internal structure. So the internal structure here on euro dollar, it was bullish in towards the highs. We make a pullback. This was all during Asia. Then you want to look for entries over here. But then we came to the conclusion that we had a bearish order flow. So buy before the sell, push down, buy before the sell, again, push down. And then again, a buy before the sell range over here, push down, buy before the sell range over here, push down. So at a certain point in time, we broke this high over here. Then this was on, this was yesterday, New York session approximately, that we broke this high over here. And I mentioned it in yesterday's video. Then we saw the pullback in towards downside, push in towards this demand zone, and that is where we could have gone long from. Now what you see is the internal structure being bullish. So we get that break of structure over here, pull back in towards demand, push up higher. Then again, we get that pullback in towards the entire over here, sell for the buy. And then from there, we move up higher. Sadly, we didn't really get in towards this refined area of, let's say, the real sell for the buy. It was pretty much the entire sell for the buy range. I prefer to just take like the real sell for the buy. And we didn't move in towards there. I was looking for an entry from there on euro dollar, but really didn't get it. But still, we can clearly see order flow is holding and we're moving up higher. Now, this for me is just a really choppy price action. Moving in towards the highs, extremely slow. So there's a lot of liquidity underneath these lows. What I'll be waiting for, because I don't see this as an internal structure break, I just see this as one impulse up. So this is currently my internal low. This is currently my internal high. What I'm looking for is to see, okay, maybe we can kind of like move all the way back down in towards this sell for the buy, grab liquidity underneath this low over here, and then, for example, get that bullish momentum again to then look for those longs. So that's what I'm looking for on euro dollar. Obviously, we've kind of followed, the overall order flow here on euro dollar in towards the highs regardless. We can see sell for the buy moves out with like one candle, moves back in, and then pushes out again. Then again, pretty much here over here we have the sell for the buy, and then again move in and then moves back out. Over here, sell for the buy, moves back in, moves back out. So now we can kind of see the order flow has broken this sell for the buy. We kind of stalled in it, but now pushed in towards the downside. So let's see. It looks like euro dollar wants to head down lower following the order flow until we kind of like stall in a new area of demand. Probably and most likely being here, because if we start breaking this low again, then of course, obviously there's not going to be any longs on the board anymore, this low over here. So just follow the 15-minute order flow, look for that 15-minute structure trade. This is going to be your highest probability setup over here. For the rest, I would just stay out of euro dollar. Don't look to buy inside this choppy range in towards the highs. So that's euro dollar. Hope that is clear for you all. Obviously we're still ranging and waiting for that breakout to occur, a real barcode price action during the past week. Now moving on in towards the dollar index, just quickly to support what we're looking at. Obviously we still have this area of supply which has been holding on the dollar. However, we still have this area of consolidation. So when we have those areas of consolidation, there's not much that we can do except for looking to buy and sell the 25 and 75% mark. So over here, this is, let's say, the range. We draw in the range trading tool, and then we can clearly see the 25% mark. That is our area of support. So now let's just see what happens on the dollar index. I'm not really looking too much at the dollar index because of the fact that we're just ranging and it can move in any direction, obviously. We need to see a breakout in our direction, and until then, it's really just a guessing game. Either we're going to move up or down. So I'm not going to try and be smart in this video. Moving on in towards Aussie dollar. So Aussie dollar, guys, and Aussie dollar is also ranging, very clear barcode. So if you get any products from the fridge that you have at home and you look on the back, and you'll see this barcode, like literally like this. Even if I change my chart back into black and white, then it will become even more clear. So going back in towards Aussie dollar, sorry guys, but just wanted to show that. Going back into Aussie dollar, we can obviously see fractal structure is bullish from this low in towards this high, but then again, on the contrary, the overall internal structure is bearish like this. And this is just all a pullback. But yeah, I mean, again, we're just waiting for a breakout here. You can just, again, do the same, draw in that range trading tool, 75% mark and the 25% mark. Those are key. And then you'll see 75% mark acting as your area of resistance. Now let's go into the 15, because again, when we're ranging, like we can look at the 4 hour, but nothing is really happening over there. So let's just focus on the internal structure. Now, on the internal structure side, yesterday's video, I was mentioning that we had kind of like this internal high over here. I wanted to see an internal break of structure on that, then a pullback into, let's say, this area of demand over here. Didn't get any entry models, so I was staying out personally. So this again was a bearish IBOS. And then what happened, we then made a bullish IBOS again. So yeah, this is range trading, guys. This happens. You'll just move around and keep on getting these IBOSes. So now we've seen a stronger push in towards the highs, obviously, but now you're just stalling at that 75% mark. So what I'm now waiting for is to see, okay, can we get a push down again? And then pretty much, yeah, this is all just a range. So maybe see some kind of like nice clean price action once we get in towards there before looking for potential long. But again, the highest probability trades will come once we, let's say, liquidate this entire range low. So what I mean by this entire range low, you would kind of like want to ask, what's that, Fabio? Well, over here, I don't know how to best describe it, but over here we have kind of like all the lows, right? So these are all the highs. And these are all the lows. So when we have a range, what you'll likely see is that the range high and the range low get liquidated. And that is what happened on the 4 hour on EURUSD. Let me just quickly check the 4 hour of Aussie dollar. Yeah, so over here, what you'll see, it's not really clear on Aussie dollar. I just want to show you guys on Euro dollar. So when you have like rangy price action, like over here, then what you'll see is that the range high and the range low get liquidated. Like over here. So that's what I'm looking at on Aussie dollar at the moment. So can we maybe on the 15-minute liquidate the range low before seeing like a real nice trade? That's what I'm looking for. Because again, it's kind of like a guessing game. If we get in towards here, obviously we can move up, but we've been moving like this the whole time. So it's very risky to start longing from here. So what's a much higher probability trade is kind of like waiting for the range low to get liquidated, and then see momentum shifting towards highs, or the range high liquidated and then look for a short. So something like that. So need more development on Aussie dollar. Moving on in towards pound dollar. So pound dollar on the 4 hour has pushed in towards the highs and just missed out on our liquidation high. So you guys know, again, pound dollar has the exact same. The 75% mark is again acting as resistance. So what I'm waiting for is still a push up higher and then a short potentially, or I was waiting for this low to get liquidated and then a push up higher. So not trading anything inside of there for the rest. Overall on the 15-minute, the 15-minute was nicer than I would say Euro dollar for what we were seeing, because overall, if we look at this pound dollar and we look at the 15-minute, you can very clearly see the internal trend playing out. So we got a break of structure in towards the downside, internal break of structure, right? Then a break of structure in towards the highs. We pull back in towards the sell before the buy. Then we move back out again. And then here we were following, yeah, like this demand zone over here. Then again, we had this demand zone over here. So the demand flow was very clean yesterday or during the New York session over here. So there were some potential trades, but nothing really that sparked my interest, let me call it that way. I would have preferred to take out this low and then see that long opportunity play out. That for me would have been much higher probability. But again, I mean, yeah, you could have taken a trade over here. If you did, very nice. I would have targeted the liquidity high. So what am I looking for today? Still, I would just like to see one more push up, grab liquidity from that area of supply or above this high, and then, for example, a short, or just a rocket down and grab liquidity below this low and tap in towards this demand zone. That is what holds my preference. But for the rest, I mean, if you're a little bit more aggressive and you do want to take that long, just keep an eye out, for example, for this area of demand on the 1 hour, which is also demand on the 15, and also has a nice low over here, which should hold. And we should see some kind of a reaction. If you want to take that long, look for something like this. Obviously, it is still very risky, but it is something that you can keep an eye out for. Moving on in towards NZDUSD. So NZDUSD, what are we seeing over here? Again, barcode. Not really going to focus too much on NZDUSD. It's a little bit different than the other dollar pairs because it is still bearish. So this is your swing high, this is your swing low on the 15-minute, I mean. We had a clear retracement in towards here, push down, and the entire time we're just following the overall order flow downwards. Now over here, we've grabbed liquidity above this high. So this is what I mean with, let's say, the range high and the range low. So for example, in more recent price action, if you say this is your range box, you grab the liquidity in the lows and now you move in towards the highs and then you move back down again. So that's kind of what I'm looking for on those other pairs. But yeah, NZDUSD, I mean, looking at this 4 hour, just stay out. I'm going to be looking for shorts if we tap in towards this area of supply. I'm going to be looking for longs if we tap in towards this area of demand over here. Moving on in towards our last pair and for some favorite pair, which is gold. So gold also ranging a little bit. We reacted to this supply zone, obviously. Now going in towards the 15-minute, we didn't really get any nice clean setups when tapping in towards this demand zone. So I did mention I was looking to see maybe we can push up a little bit higher. So when we get kind of like this internal structure shift, right? So from bearish in towards bullish, people then look, okay, can I go long from this area of demand? So I say, yeah, of course you can look to go long from the area of demand, but we need to see bullish intentions. So how do you recognize bullish intentions? You recognize bullish intentions from the change in the fractal structure. So what's very clear is every single time we have a buy before the sell, push down, buy before the sell, and then we get a push down, buy before the sell. We tap in and we push down, buy before the sell over here. We tap in and we push down. So there is a very strong bearish order flow over here, right? There's no bullish intentions at all. So why would you start buying from this area of demand? That's why it just crashes straight through into people's stop losses. And for example, moves in towards this refined area of demand over here. Now, we've broken the internal structure. So we're now bearish again. Obviously, we've then pulled back in towards whatever zone over here we have. And now what I'm waiting for to see is, can we start breaking? We've already broken, let's say, this first kind of like mini zone over here where we saw a bullish candle. And now what I'm waiting for is to break this low. If we can break that, then you could start looking for some sells in towards the downside. So that is personally what I would be looking for over here on gold. So that's it for myself for the day. I'm looking for further downside on gold to trade it and liquidate this low over here, as long as the 4 hour overall order flow maintains its bearish momentum. I'll only be looking for longs on gold once we break this high, because at the moment we're bearish from this high in towards this low. So just waiting and looking to trade the overall buy before the sell, buy before the sell, buy before the sell, move back in. Just looking to trade that in towards the downside until we reach a fresh area of demand and liquidate this low. So yeah, guys, that's it for today. Thank you so much for tuning in. Wish you all a fantastic day, and we will speak very, very soon. Thanks, guys.